Okay. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Stock Talk with Nico Criticos. Today, we're going to be doing some stock analysis on Pulte Group, and that is because of a very interesting article that I found recently. I'm going to show that to you in a minute, but we are going to turn this fairly boring company into a very interesting analysis video, and the project they are working on is also very interesting. So let's get started in this. Let's start with the stock. The stock is $115 a share. It is a market cap of $22 billion, a PE of only 11, and this company was founded in 1950. I believe they are the third largest home builder, if I remember correctly. So, earlier this year, the stock was $142 or whatever. Now we're down to 115, so it's come down a little bit. And this is the article that piqued my interest because they are partnering with Span, which is the startup, and then a startup from California. And then we also have NVIDIA working on this project. So let's go through this really quick. Lots of good information here. With many communities resisting the massive data centers needed to power AI, this California startup, Span, is betting that homeowners will embrace miniature versions right in their backyards. Yes, a miniature data center in your yard. The startup Span calls the concept distributed data centers and has partnered with AI chipmaker NVIDIA to test the units in a handful of communities under construction by major homebuilder Pulte Group and additional homebuilder partners. So Pulte Group's not the only one. The idea is to make use of spare electrical transmission capacity already available in many neighborhoods, something Span says its smart panels can detect. Rather than building massive new data centers, the company is proposing a network of small units, which it calls XFRA, whatever, however you say that, nodes, installed at homes across the country, and together they could deliver the same computing power as a traditional data center, potentially easing the need for large-scale development in one community. And I don't know about you guys, pretty much everywhere. I mean, I'm pretty close to the data center being built in Hobart, Indiana, and pretty much everybody in this area does not want it here. Besides for the politicians. The politicians do want to bring them in, of course, but the actual citizens do not want it. For big tech and AI companies, tapping into that network wouldn't look much different than using a standard data center. They'd simply draw on the shared system. Then this is what it would look like, okay? So not too bad. It's really not that bad. The equipment itself is designed to blend in with the home's exterior with compact white XFR, well, we're just going to call them boxes or nodes, installed on alongside things like air conditioning units and electrical panels. And that's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't look anything weird or bad, in my opinion. They are about the size of an HVAC condenser installed just outside of the single family homes today. This approach could be built out far more quickly and at a much lower cost than the typical data center. They can install 8,000 of these units about 6 times faster and 5 times cheaper than the construction of a typical 100 megawatt data center. One big reason this model works is the average American only uses about 40% of its electrical capacity. I found that very interesting too because I've been researching this topic a little bit lately and just seeing how like it's hard to store power and the way the supply and demand works with electricity prices and all this stuff. As big data center developers struggle to find power sources and distribution capacity, this is capacity that's already available. They are incorporating NVIDIA's technology, including a liquid cooled fanless component. The design helps eliminate noise, which is a big complaint for people in big data centers. We're trying to get access to power, and there's a lot of power right now on the grid. Unfortunately, to come up with large loads for a big data center is a challenge. The ability to leverage existing locations that have access to power makes a lot more sense. We believe that we can bring on AI solutions quicker and it should add to the affordability story. I think Tesla, this is like something I could see Tesla doing. This reminds me very much of Tesla. I feel like Tesla could buy them out or something, or maybe Tesla's making their own. I don't know. A span installation typically includes a smart panel, an outdoor unit, a battery backup, and sometimes solar panels. The company says the unit taps into unused power generation capacity to run the system. Again, this is an interesting concept to me because I don't fully understand it, but it sounds like it's hard to store power, and so you constantly have to try to match that supply to demand. The exact arrangement will vary from, but then at the same time, there's also companies that sell power back to the grid or whatever. I don't fully understand all this. The exact arrangement will vary from one neighborhood or region to the next, but it's likely that Span will take on paying the host electricity and internet bills directly. That's interesting. So this company is going to come install the unit. They're going to pay your bills. At least they're going to pay your typical energy bills, and then they're going to charge you a lower premium. And then they're going to charge a flat fee that's pretty much lower than what everybody would normally pay. An example fee we've shared previously is $150 a month, about half of what the average American pays for electricity and internet. In some cases, there may be no fee at all. Well, how does that work then? Pulte Group, one of the largest home builders, is in the early stages of testing the technology. Span says they are installing these units during construction process at no cost to the homeowner. That's a big deal. And the system has already been rolled out in a small number of communities. There is certainly an opportunity here, and it can offset monthly energy costs at a larger scale. If the technology proves out, it can also keep local infrastructure from being overburdened, which is nice. And this person said within a year they can launch 100 home proof of concept with Pulte Group, blah blah blah. So that's pretty much all we got there. Then we're going to move on to this and do some quick analysis on Gemini. This company is currently operating higher for longer interest rate environment. Well, the stock has seen volatility. In the home building industry, a moat is rare, but they have built a structural advantage through segmentation and asset efficiency. Dell Web, the active adult crown jewel. Pulte owns the Dell Web brand, the undisputed leader in age-restricted 55 and over active adult communities. This segment is their primary moat. It is less sensitive to interest rate hikes because these buyers often pay in cash from the sale of a previous home and are driven by lifestyle rather than necessity. As of this year, they hold roughly 60% of its land via options rather than outright ownership. This land light model acts as a financial moat, protecting their balance sheet during downturns by allowing them to walk away from land deals with minimal loss. That's interesting. Let's see what their balance sheet looks like. Well, they have 2.3 billion in cash, 1.8 in debt. So it's okay. It's nothing that great though. They maintain one of the highest ROI numbers, frequently over 20%. Okay, let's take a closer look at those numbers then. We're going to come over here, return on capital the last 5 years. Peaked out a couple years ago at 30%. Very nice. Now it's down to 17 though. So why has it been downtrending for 3 years? I don't know. Profit margin, same thing. It peaked in 2024 though, and now we're down to 10. So they definitely are going through a tough time here. This allows them to aggressively buy back shares with a 1.5 billion authorization added just last month. Let's take a look at that. And this is also very true. Look at the past 5 years of shares. Went from 260 million all the way to 190 million. They're buying back almost 5% of shares per year. Very nice. So maybe that's why they're that makes their cash to debt ratio look even better. Then that's they're spending a bunch of cash buying back shares. No wonder. So home builders will typically trade at low PE ratios because they are cyclical. This company becomes more of a manufacturing company and less of a land speculator. Their multiple is expected to stabilize at around 10 to 11 times earnings. Now, these numbers look pretty ambitious to me. Doing $10 EPS and then 11 next year, then 13 and then 15 and then 17. Those look pretty ambitious, but they're saying that the trend here is that okay, anticipated margin recovery as incentives decrease, significant earnings boost from share buyback, blah 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 blah. So, and if you look at Yahoo Finance estimates, we do have a drop in revenue this year, and a big drop in earnings as well. And then it should rebound and come back to where we were last year. Same thing with EPS. So we are looking at $10, $11 EPS. Gemini thinks that the stock should be about 140 bucks next year, and we're at 115 now. Okay. 2030, which is 4 years from now, we're looking at $200. So almost a double up in 4 or 5 years, which is not really any better than what you could get with just an index fund, which makes it, if I'm going to buy one company, that means it's way more risky than buying an index fund. And I shouldn't say not always, unless the one company is really undervalued and the general market is overvalued. Sometimes that can happen. But in a case like this, I guess maybe this is a situation where I wouldn't want to be buying the index right now. The QQQ is at over $700, and it's ran up a lot the last couple of months. So I really would not want to buy the index at this price, but buying this honestly would be a better choice. Now, when the market falls a little bit, if the market came down 20%, well, then I'm absolutely buying the market, pretty much in any situation over a stock like this. So, but right now, honestly, I mean, it's an okay. I don't know. I don't know if I don't think it's cheap enough yet for me to consider it a strong buy. Gemini thinks the buy zone is below 115, which that's right where we're sitting. And you are paying roughly 10 times earnings for a top tier national builder. Again, that's a decent 10 times is cheap compared to pretty much everything else. But when we look at this company's Historical PE ratios, it gets down to like a 6 and a 7. So you got to be careful. Once it hits 13 to 14 times earnings, it says start selling. Then I asked it about the partnership with Span, and they are putting smart electrical panels in the homes, effectively turning residential neighborhoods into decentralized AI data centers. Historically, the moat was location and land, but by working with Span, their moat is now technological and financial. But like I said earlier in the article, they are working with other companies, so keep that in mind. They are currently testing these units, liquid-cooled NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, mounted on the exterior walls of the homes. This creates a recurring revenue model that didn't exist before. They can capture a per-home fee from the network utilization, changing their valuation from a one-and-done builder to something closer to tech infrastructure. By using the smart panels to detect and use idle electricity capacity, they can build high-tech homes, blah, 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 blah. Here's the benefits. The homeowner gets a share of the network revenue and a discount on electricity and Wi-Fi. This makes the home a money-earning asset, blah, blah, blah. And I asked it more details on that in a second because I don't understand how the homeowner is making money. The homeowner is going to get a $15,000 unit installed for free. Then they're going to get their bills paid less in monthly bills. And then on top of that, what? They're going to get paid revenue from that, or do they mean? I don't know. I'm not sure how they're describing this. Span claims they could deploy the equivalent of 100 data center across 80,000 homes in 6 months compared to 3 to 5 years. So they do it quicker and cheaper, like I said earlier. Smart panels allow for better integration of solar and EV charging, appealing to these people. Um, the risks, public backlash. Some buyers still view it as a visual eyesore. Like I said, I don't think it looks like that at all. Critics have noted spreading the computer across homes doesn't eliminate the heat noise, it just spreads the fizz. I don't know. Well, I don't. I mean, what about AC units and stuff? When people put on AC units, that makes a bunch of noise, right? What about lawnmowers? What about which people are buying electric lawnmowers now? But the point is, people make noise in a neighborhood anyways. That you're not going to really you're not going to get rid of that anytime soon, I don't think. And people still drive loud cars, right? There's plenty of electric options, but people still buy loud things because they want whatever gas powered things or whatever the reason is. Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's that big of a difference there. Local electric utilities may push back against it when homeowners are selling power. See, now that here's the interesting part where homeowners are essentially selling power back to the grid. That's the part that I'm always interested in. While most builders are struggling with how to sell homes, they are offering income generating. I like how everything now with EVs and automation and everything's electric and everything you could sell power back to the grid with all this electric stuff. I like how everything is an income generating asset now. Your house generates income, your car generates income, even in the data center, blah 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 blah. Okay, then we come down here. So this is how it works. Homeowners aren't necessarily receiving a paycheck. Okay, that's what I thought. Instead, they are getting a massive reduction. Okay, so that's a much different thing. So they're not getting revenue. Their bill is supposed to be 150 bucks a month, or it said in some cases there's no fee though. So how does that work? How do you get a free device installed? So you can get a free device installed in your house and then not pay anything monthly. You're not going to pay for power. It's all going to be free. That doesn't make sense. Span takes over the homeowner's utility, internet bills. Okay, they charge a fixed flat monthly fee. Some owners are seeing $0 electricity and internet bills because their rented wall space covers the cost. I'm not sure how that works. This device performs interference tasks for companies like OpenAI and Palantir. When the node is active, the homeowner receives a share of the network utilization revenue. What? Now that would be crazy if you could have a data center at your house and OpenAI and Palantir is going to pay you to use it. That would be hilarious. A Span smart panel and a whole home battery backup system worth up to 20 grand are typically installed at no cost. If the power goes out, the computer node shuts down, but the homeowner gets to keep the battery backup for their own lights and fridge, provided for free again by the network. That's funny. It sounds good though. They are moving away from just selling sticks and bricks, blah, blah, recurring revenue, retain a small percentage of compute fees generated by every home they build across 30,000 homes a year. This creates a massive thing. By using more smart power management, they don't have to pay for expensive grid upgrades or high capacity transformations. So, again, let's look at the numbers here. This is the important part. Here's the price earnings the past 3 years. You could have bought this stock at under 6 times earnings. It's been 6 or 7 times, multiple times just in the last 3 years. So I am not going to pay 11 times earnings. But again, I mean, if their numbers grows faster than usual, maybe it's going to stay at 10 to 15 times earnings. Who knows? Free cash flow yield, it's okay. If you look on a 2-year basis, it looks pretty high, which is good. But Price to sales is okay. So it's an okay valuation. I don't. It's tough to say. See, the free cash flow is strong. The free cash flow yield of 7.5% is really strong, and the PE is really cheap. So I don't. And look how low that payout ratio is, only 9%. Wow. But the revenue is flat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm not. Su I don't know. I'm not super excited to jump into this yet, but I am super interested in this span company. I would like to buy shares in the span company, really. So I don't know. Maybe if the stock came down more to under $100 or something, it'd be more interesting. But as of now, it's definitely an interesting project they're working on. I think the span company is more interesting though. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you in the next video.